Welcome back to AM Northwest. With 21 museums, 20 libraries, and the National Zoo, it's the world's largest museum complex dedicated to shaping the future by preserving our past. To celebrate our nation's 250th birthday, the Smithsonian Institute has launched a new initiative. Here to tell us about our shared future 250, we welcome the Secretary of the Smithsonian, Lonnie Bunch III. Good morning, Lonnie.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Well, give us a brief history of the Smithsonian. When did the Smithsonian come to be?
The Smithsonian has been around for 180 years. It really began in 1846, and over a period of 180 years, it went from one building to now 21 museums. It went from a few collections to now having 155 million artifacts and specimens. So it really is America's collective memory. I always think of the Smithsonian as a reservoir that uses art, history, culture, science as a way to help you find understanding, clarity, and maybe even a little bit of hope.
Well, I was there about 10 years ago, and it is massive, and it is like awe-inspiring. Tell us about the castle. The castle is an impressive piece of architecture.
Well, you know, the castle is the original Smithsonian building. It was built in 1855 or finished in 1855, and it really was the only building down on what is now the National Mall. And it was built to look different from any federal government building, to say that this is a building for the people. And it obviously, being that old, needs some work. So I had to close it for several years, but I thought it was important to open it for the 250th. So it is open to the public for a period of time, and they'll be able to see some exhibitions about the Smithsonian, but especially one that I have to co-curate called American Aspirations.
And tell us more about the American Aspirations.
So the goal of the American Aspirations is to say, here is an intimate experience. Usually when you go to a big museum, you see a lot of objects, but you're distant. I wanted to have 30 objects that allows you to have an intimate experience, to basically say that the way to understand America is to look at the foundational words of people like Thomas Jefferson. And that Jefferson created the notion that America is a land in pursuit of happiness, pursuit of hope, pursuit of fairness. So I wanted to take some objects to tell that story. So you'll walk in, and the first thing you will see is the desk that Thomas Jefferson actually wrote the Declaration of Independence on, which is very, very powerful. And you'll be able to sort of look at that, understand what Jefferson was trying to do, and to really look at how the other objects tell us how America has really built on those foundational words to be the nation we are today. You'll see things like the light bulb that Thomas Edison created that led to electrification of the United States. You'll see the speech that Martin Luther King gave, his I Have a Dream speech. You'll see a flight suit worn by Amelia Earhart, the pioneering aviatrix. So in essence, the goal here is to give you an intimate experience that allows you to see America as a work in progress, and to recognize people have struggled, debated, voted to make real the words of the Declaration.
So what does the 250th birthday of America mean to the Smithsonian and mean to you?
You know, what it means is, first of all, as a historian, I love to get a chance to talk about history. So it means that history is front and center. But it also means that for the Smithsonian, it says that history is not about yesterday. It's about today and tomorrow. And that we are profoundly shaped by the history and culture that shaped our ancestors. So what the Smithsonian always wants to do is help people understand that these are living stories. These are issues that continue to shape us to this very day. And that ultimately, as a nation, we have come through a lot, and we've been able to find common ground. And so the hope is that the 250th will allow us to once again find that common ground that helps us build on the ideals of a Thomas Jefferson, but ideals that are made concrete by people whose names we don't even know, but who labored, who voted, who wanted to make sure that the ideals of America were accessible to everybody.
And it is kind of a living thing, the Smithsonian, because you are creating new places to learn about our history.
And I think that the Smithsonian recognizes that there are millions of people who will come to Washington, but there are millions more that won't. So we're doing a lot online and with digital. We've created something called My Smithsonian, which allows the public, wherever you are, to tap into the Smithsonian resources, to see the collections, to build on our educational work, to basically recognize that the Smithsonian is too important just to be in Washington. It needs to be in every home and in every classroom. So we're looking at how we do that digitally as well.
As a historian, what's it like for you to be able to go to all of these places, all of these buildings, and maybe nerd out on the type of history that we see, from the Air and Space Museum to the natural history?
Well, I think for me, it is an opportunity to learn. And that's what repels me about the Smithsonian. Every time I go into the Air and Space Museum and look at sort of the trajectory to the moon, or to look at the Wright Flyer, I'm amazed at what we do. I walk into the Museum of American History and I see things that really help me understand how America evolved over 250 years. I go into the African American Museum and I see material that challenges us, but that also says, here's where America, a nation that started with slavery, here's how America got beyond that, moved away from that, began to address its ills. So in essence, for me, the Smithsonian is this amazing reservoir that I learned from something every day whenever I go into a Smithsonian museum. And we want the public to have that same experience, whether it's actually coming to the Washington or going to it on digital.
Well, it is an inspiring place as a person who's been there. And we'll have more information on our Shared Future 250 and the Smithsonian special series of events on our website at katu.com. Lonnie, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Great to be with you.
You have a great day, and we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Stay with us.